Season 2 of Temptation Island recently came out on Netflix, and if you're like me, you probably binged it all in about a week and probably have trust issues now. But I want to talk about my thoughts on this season and where all the cast members are now. I'm not going to lie, I planned on covering all the episodes as they came out. Last year, I only managed to cover like the last 2 episodes. I was like, okay, I'm going to cover them in intervals of 2, but it was hard for me to keep up with the episodes. One thing I don't like about how they do it, I hate how they pretty much come out with the whole season at once, or I think they come out with all of it or majority of the episodes up front. I really wish they would just come out with 1 or 2 episodes a week so we could keep up with everything and cover everything instead of just being overwhelmed at once, and by the time I finally feel like I catch up with everything, I feel like all the tea's already been spilled. I'm not gonna lie, I had a hard time finishing this season. Like the last season, I was obsessed with it. I literally binged it in a day or 2 because I could not stop watching it. I watched 1 episode after another because it was so good. And this season, I don't know, I just felt like everything was so much slower. I question the authenticity of some of the relationships, and I just kind of feel like they should have casted people from different age ranges. It seemed like they just mainly focused on casting really young people this season, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling the cast. I feel like a lot of the cast, especially the guys, were a lot more quiet compared to the guys last season. Like we had Grant, who was constantly gaslighting his girlfriend last season, and then we had that one guy who hooked up with the girl or had the threesome in the shower. And I mean, we had Jack out here being a little F-boy, hooking up with 2 different girls within 24 hours and cheating on his girl within days of being at the villa. But besides that, I don't know, I just felt like there wasn't a lot of memorable moments that these cast members gave us. But let's talk about where these cast members are now. Okay, so first we have Kaylee and Summit, and they were the only original couple that were able to make it out of this experiment still together. They said that this whole experiment actually made the relationship even stronger, and now they feel like they have this newfound commitment for each other. I really hope so, because I don't know, I just kind of felt like Summit wasn't ready to settle down and get married yet. I feel like he kind of was scared about the whole idea of getting married. And so according to Kaylee, she said that after they left the final bonfire, they were so excited to tell each other about how their experience went. Even though Summit made it seem like he was scared to get married and settle down really fast, he decided in the season 2 finale that he was going to give Kaylee 2 symbolic gifts. He decided to give her a dog collar and a key. And the key was supposed to symbolize that they're going to eventually move in together. And the dog collar was going to symbolize a dog that they're going to get together. And they wanted to get a wiener dog that they want to name Nugget. And they want to move to California together. But at this time, neither one of those hopes or dreams have come to fruition. But they're still together at this time. Honestly, them moving to California makes sense because they look like a Cali couple. And even though they haven't moved in together yet, they claim that they spend every single night together. And I guess he's been working on making sure that she feels more secure. And they claim that they're in a way better place in their relationship now. Now let's talk about Cindy and Mikey. Okay, so we saw Sydney fall in love with Xavier, and she decided to leave the island with him. After Sydney ended up leaving the island, she started to second guess her decision. She's like, damn, did I just throw away all this time that I invested in Mikey for something that may not work? And I think a lot of it has to do with being in the island. Like when you're in the island and you're in front of people, it's easy to catch feelings, especially when you're with that person day in and day out. But I think once people leave the island and they're like, damn, actually this may be a little hard to make a long distance relationship work, or maybe this isn't worth all the trouble. And so she started to second guess if it was worth throwing away what she had with Mikey. So she ended up getting back with Mikey 4 days after she left the island. He kept saying, oh, you know what you saw in those bonfire clips, those were misconstrued. you need to just listen to me and give me another chance. So she decided to give the relationship another try, but eventually, according to Mikey, they just both realized that it wasn't going to work. Too much damage had been done, and I think they had realized at that point that they just were not compatible with each other. And I could tell that off the rip as soon as they entered the island. They had two completely different personalities, and Michael is a little jokester, and Sydney sees that as immature. But there's going to be the right woman that loves Mikey for being that jokester, and the right woman's going to be out there for him. But him and Sydney's personalities, I just don't think they mesh, and there's just been too much damage done in their relationship. And I think Sydney was ready to move on. She was looking for any reason to move on with her relationship. I honestly feel like Sydney took Mikey up on this show so she could get her lick back. She wanted to get her payback after he had a whole other girlfriend while she was sleeping with him, and she felt stupid and humiliated. So she wanted Mikey to go through the same thing that he had put her through, and I think that's why she chose Xavier at the end and then went back to Mikey. But she said she regrets that decision and wishes that she never would have got back with him and would have stood on the decision she made at the bonfire. She said, looking back, she feels like Mikey was lying when he was trying to act like the bonfire clips were misconstrued and taken out of context. And she kind of just feels like Mikey was saying that as a way to minimize what he did and not have to take accountability. But she said at the end of the day, he was still flirting with other women, and that's why she decided to do what she wanted to do. And after she decided to not be with Mikey, she decided to hit Xavier up again, and she's like, hey, would you like to go out for coffee sometime? And she was surprised that he actually hit her back, and he said that he was down, and he was actually very understanding with the fact that she wanted to give Mikey another chance originally. And I was hoping, okay, maybe they got back together and they're living happily ever after. All the cast members recently did a reunion with the Vile Files podcast, and in the podcast, she claimed that she was currently focusing on herself, but Xavier revealed in an interview that he is currently single, and he recently relocated to Los Angeles, where he's pursuing opportunities in modeling and fashion, and he's also doing some of his music just for hobby. And I guess Sydney has plans to come out and visit him sometime soon. So they were definitely still talking and plan on going on a date sometime soon. And then Sydney revealed that, or not Sydney, but Mikey revealed that he had a lot of anger towards Xavier during this season, but now looking back, he regrets being so angry towards Xavier and realizes more than anything he was just angry with Sydney, and his anger was misdirected. And then he also revealed in the Vile Files podcast that he got so angry when he found out about Sydney and Xavier that he ended up punching several holes in the walls at the Temptation Island house, and I guess they ended up cutting that part out of the episode. But that's pretty much it, guys. I am going to cover the other two couples in a separate video, so check out the video after this where I will be covering the other two couples, just because this ended up being a little longer than I thought, getting into the nitty-gritty of everybody. So check out my next video where I'm going to cover Scarlett and Cole and Cheyenne and Jack. But let me know what you guys think about where all these cast members are now, and what did you guys think about this second season as a whole? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you guys so much for watching.